From Fox 55 Sports, this is The Locker Room.
The IHSAA has diligently attempted to continue the boys basketball tournament series as scheduled. We greatly appreciate the support of our member schools and our patrons. With the number of schools now taking extended breaks from school, it has become impossible to complete the tournament series as originally scheduled. Therefore, the IHSAA boys basketball tournament series is postponed immediately. The association will continue to evaluate the utility of continuing the boys basketball tournament at a later date and will inform our member schools and the public as soon as a definitive decision can be reached. The state gymnastics meet at Ball State will continue as scheduled tomorrow without spectator attendance. We thank you for your understanding during these unprecedented times.
Unprecedented times indeed. Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside a very somber locker room alongside my partner, Peter Hood. My name is Justin Prince. Pete, tonight's show is supposed to be all about getting ready for Regional Saturday.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite days of the year, and I know it's one of yours, but over the last 48 hours, everything in the sports world has changed dramatically, and that includes Hoosier hysteria being put on hold due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, who would have thought just a week ago that we'd be here right now? I don't think any of us could have saw this coming. In fact, just yesterday, the IHSAA said that the boys basketball state tournament would continue this weekend, just without fans in the stands. But of course, that decision was reversed earlier this afternoon with, as you heard, Commissioner Bobby Cox announcing the immediate postponement of the tourney. And it's an announcement that affects several local squads. Snyder, Marion, New Haven, Norwell, Leo, Blackhawk, Churubusco, and Southwood were all scheduled to compete for regional titles tomorrow, but that's no longer the case. And right now, no one is sure when or if any of those teams will be able to play again this season.
Well, I don't think anybody was overly surprised. I mean, I think it's something we all realized was a distinct possibility. We're disappointed, but, the fact that it's postponed and not outright canceled, I think, we're going to hang on to hope that we'll be able to still get it in at some point down the road.
When you talk to the players, I guess kind of what will be your message to them? Because obviously they're going to be, disappointed, and especially the seniors who probably are worried that maybe they're not going to get a chance to play again.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of the deal, and we do only have one senior this year, so my heart's heavy for him, but at the same time, like I said, it's not over until it's over. So we're going to hang on to hope that, and I know Bobby Cox and the folks at the IHSAA are going to do everything within their power to make this happen. So
Coach was saying that you guys are in kind of uncharted waters as far as, he doesn't really know if you guys are going to practice every day leading up, but, you don't even know when you're going to be able to maybe play again. So I guess maybe what are your expectations for what maybe the next couple of weeks will be like?
Honestly, I have no clue. We're just going to take it one day at a time, whether we're practicing or not. Just not worry about the next day or anything like that, but just, stay in the moment and, figure out what's best to do in the moment.
I was going to say, at this time of year, you guys are so locked in and you're so worried about winning the next championship with a potential long layoff like this, maybe a month, a couple of months. I guess, how do you try to stay focused and stay locked in during what could be an extended period of time?
Yeah, I'd say just keep your eye on the goal and what we're trying to accomplish. And kind of like I said before, just stay in the moment. Not allow yourself to get discouraged, but just, be hopeful for the future and what there is to come, not just in basketball, but, in all aspects of life, and this is affecting.
How long do you think the IHSAA, obviously you're not privy to any information, anything that they're thinking inside, closed doors right now, but how long do you think potentially they would go before they have to say, all right, it's just not going to happen?
Well, I think that they're waiting to see within the next week or two, what's going to happen, what kind of school closures there are, and then what are the effects of that. So within the first week or two, I think that they would feel like they could get a sense of if everyone's going to return around mid-April. I think that there's a possibility. If it's still up in the air, or obviously if the cases continue to multiply, then I think it'd probably be in their interest to shut it down.
Are you optimistic optimistic that you'll be able to play again this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's one of those, like, you're telling me there's a chance. You know what I mean? We want the opportunity. We truly, you know, went into our last practice feeling like we're the best team in the regional, and I'm sure 3 other teams did as well. So we would love to have a crack at it. Our goal at the end of the day is to win our last game of the season. We've done that, but, you know, we kind of, you know, we want to fight for a little bit more.
And then obviously, you know, you don't want it to get to that point, but the next step for this would be canceling everything. With that, I know you mentioned disappointment for, you know, regionals not being played in front of anybody. Would it be kind of disappointing to not kind of know what could happen if it were to, you know, just get canceled on everything?
Yeah, if they had to cancel, obviously, I wouldn't really even know what to say to them. It would be very difficult to look in our kids' eyes. Number one, it's very difficult to get to this spot. There's no guarantee that just because you're not a senior, you'll be back. So it'd be very difficult to say that to them. But it'd be more difficult to tell our seniors that their high school career is over and they didn't lose. You know, it's one thing to go in a locker room and you got beat by a better team or you didn't play well and you lost. But to not be able to compete for that prize would be very difficult and probably something that it would take a long time for myself, and I know it would take a long time for them to get over. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
It's just a thought that not really wants to be in most of our heads, you know, since there's a great chance that one of these teams could get there, and it would be such a disappointment that all of our hard work could basically just go down the drain.
I mean, it'd be terrible. I mean, we haven't won a sectional since 2017. And we just won one, so we're trying to make a run here. And if they cancel it, I mean, it would stink, but I understand what's going on. I understand it.
I'm just thinking of all the conference tournaments that were canceled, and I get the decisions. I understand what those conferences are doing. I mean, they've got other things that they're looking at. But those young men that have competed so hard all year and prepared and not having that opportunity, I'm sure it's disappointing for them. It would be disappointing for our guys. But at the same time, we would have to look at what we've accomplished, and we would have to go from there and say, look at what we accomplished this year and what we did. So, but again, it's really out of our control. We're going to obviously respect the decisions that the IHSAA comes up with. And again, our number one priority is safety of our student athletes and our community members.
I think Coach McBride from Norwell said it best there. As much as it really stinks, and as much as we're all going to miss sports and this state, which is so crazy about high school basketball, to even fathom the state tournament not being able to continue, obviously is, you hate to even think about it, but at the end of the day, it's about the safety of the players, the fans, the community, everyone in general, and that's, you know, what should be at the top of mind, I feel like, for everybody right now.
And it was almost a question of when, not if. You know, Minnesota, they've already canceled. Wisconsin canceled late last night. Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, all of them done. It was just kind of like a, okay, all of us except for, you know, the Hoosier hysteria, but...
And I think you started to see the dominoes kind of fall on Wednesday night. Yeah. You and I were at the Comets game together when we heard that Rudy Gobert, the Utah Jazz center, had tested positive for coronavirus, and it wasn't long after that the NBA obviously suspended its season, and that kind of set everything in motion. And you know, once, I mean, you know, obviously in this country, outside of the NFL, I mean, the NBA is the league in terms of ratings, popularity, all that stuff. And once you saw them suspend their season for an indefinite period of time, I think everybody else just kind of fell in line. And it stinks. Obviously, it makes our jobs a whole lot more interesting. But, you know, at the end of the day, sports, they're games. It's entertainment. It's not life or death. And so hopefully in a few weeks, couple months, this will all be cleared up, and you know, we can resume kind of what we all love to do, which is watch sports on a daily basis. But until then, everybody's got to stay safe, wash their hands, make sure you're using the hand sanitizer, all that good stuff.
Yep.